I don't mind.
But I promise I will.
So I think you're right.
In fact, I think I don't, all I have is health, I got down to health 9, I got health 8 and P 6th grade. Okay, well, this really is kind of a talk session, a think session, just kind of make you think about the summer and things you can do to prepare yourself. For everybody, in case everyone forgot, the Blended Learning Grant was a 2-year thing. This year was and really it's a 1.5-year thing because we weren't required to start until January, and then we're required to do it all of the following school year. The 8th grader, or I'm sorry, the 9th graders and the 10th graders will all get new tablets. They're going to get a nicer, square, iPad mini-sized 8-inch tablet that has a higher resolution. It's dual core, has twice as much memory. I'm hoping that some of the lag problems that we saw this year will be solved with that. And quite honestly, if the funds are available, because I have to have them all spent by the end of June, if the funds are available, we might even replace the juniors' tablets. And the question is whether we replace those or just have lots of spares, I don't know. The 8th graders will continue with the 7-inch tablets that they have. The juniors and seniors will get back the 7-inch tablets that they already had. Garrett Anderson's in the process of reflashing them all. We're going to have some more and better videos at the beginning of the year for intervention than we had before. We're also going to have a bring your own device option for kids, that if they sign a form saying that they have an iPad or they have a laptop or they have their own Kindle Fire, that they don't have to take ours, but they do get the same detention for not bringing it in as they would as if they had ours. So they're still going to be required to all have a device every day. It's just we had a number of kids with iPads, a number of kids with laptops that were like, mine's better, why do I have to bring yours? And really, it's a good point. And no one seemed to, when we talked about it, no one had any objections. And I guess if this is a bigger forum, does anyone have any objections to us going to that for next year? Okay. Again, the idea is they have to have a signed form from their parents saying that it is theirs to bring in every single day, and they understand that they have to bring it in every single day. What we don't want is parents saying, we don't want yours, we're good, and then the kid not ever have anything at school.
The only time I saw with the bring your own devices, there were some applications that worked great on the Android, but it didn't work as well or at all on the iPhone.
You know what
I don't remember.
Now, I'll tell you, one of the things that they're going to hit is if they bring an iPad, they're not going to have the calculator, so now they're going to have to go back to buying a graphing calculator if they're in pre-calc or calc. So that's one of the price is the same for our tablet versus that graphing calculator, so that's one of the choices they're making, that I have an iPad and I have to buy a graphing calculator now, because that app does not exist on iOS device.
There's not even an app for grabbing that.
No, there is not.
That's the part.
No.
Is there one they can purchase?
Not that I don't know. I will say not the TI-83 calculator. I'm sure there is some kind of graphic calculator out, but right now that's not an option for them because it's not a requirement that Mr. Alexander learn how to use a whole bunch of different calculators because you don't want to have the device that we have. That's an agreement between them and Mr. Alexander, not between them and the school. So if they bring something to Todd and say, I want to use this as my graphing calculator, Todd says, okay, that's up to him. But he has the option of saying, no, this is the approved graphing calculator for my class. If you don't have an app that does this, then you have to get one. So that's just something that they need to think about when they're making that decision. So, and that obviously only applies to juniors and seniors.
Is there still like a size? Like kids
7
get
inches minimum.
cell phone
No, 7 inches is the minimum. We said with that, cell phones do not apply. And I'm not saying that they couldn't take a Moodle quiz with a cell phone. They certainly could. But are they going to be able to write a extended response paper for Mr. Eiler on a cell phone? Research shows that small of a device, yes, I can physically do it, but can I physically do it for an extended period of time? Research says no. So we're saying they have to have a 7-inch or larger device in order to do the bring your own. Now, if, like I said, if Mike's given a quiz and he says, use whatever device you want, that's Mike's prerogative to say that at teaching that classroom, because we've already said the teacher could say when devices come out, when they're supposed to be put away. We don't care what device the teacher directs to bring out, but you have to have something that's usable for every class, not just one class in school. So that's one thing that is going to change for next year. It may make the sign out a little more complicated. We're going to send out letters before school starts explaining that to the parents, so they can make the decision before school starts who's getting what. We're going to have tablets ready for everybody, and when you guys have intervention, they need to basically say, I've got the letter, here's my iPad, or here's your tablet, and you hand it out to them, so that we're going to be giving them out intervention again, just like we did last year. By the way, that worked relatively well. We only had, I think, 8 not returned, and we're going to do calls to home before we charge them to see if parents want to try to find that device before we start charging kids. There weren't that many that didn't get turned in. There were a few that were turned in broken that we've gone through all of them, turned them all on, and there were a few that were smashed. There was a couple that just had a couple minor things wrong with them. We're just giving them a replacement for those ones that had minor things wrong. So anyway, so where are we going to go from here next year? The idea is that we're continuing to do the blended learning thing. We're continuing to strive to try to do one blended learning activity a week, whether that's in classroom, whether that's out of the classroom. Again, completely up to you how you want to blend the online content. Just remember those requirements that blended means it includes online content, and it has to be either at the student's own pace or own time, and the student has to have some measure of control. If you go and show a YouTube video in the middle of class, the student had no control over that. That's just online content. That is not blended learning, okay? If you say everybody needs to watch this video and do this extended response by Thursday, and you give them time in class and they have intervention, that is a blended learning activity, okay? Since we've kind of done it a little bit, the reason we want to talk about what you can do this summer is just start thinking about or finding those things ahead of time. And I'm going to show you in my, I wish I was logged in as me. You can log in. Logged in as my administrator himself, not my real self. One of the classes that we did, one of the most recent ones we did, blended learning class, was on the YouTube or the Moodle book. And I am redoing my entire class around the Moodle book, and I'm using a Moodle book to organize and gather all my flip stuff this summer for the whole year next year. And you don't have to do it this way, obviously, this is just an idea. What I found, and I think what a lot of you guys found, was a limitation in time. All of a sudden you're at that module and now I have to go and find something. I need to find a new blended learning activity and I'm crunched for time. And so what I've been doing is actually going through and using the Moodle book to put them all, so all my blended learning stuff, I'm organizing it in a book by chapter so that I can just say to my kids, the blended learning activity is the one on laser printer maintenance, for instance. And then they go, and there's the video right there, and then I can link the assessment right there. And so all my blended learning stuff, when I'm done this summer, is my plan, that's part of my project, is to get all my blended learning stuff for advanced tech and for hardware into a Moodle book so that I can just say it's right there. And I'm just going to make it say, right now it says online textbook, blended learning assignments, whatever, for however you want to organize it. But then the kids can just, you could just say, hey, I want you to go to 1-7, and you need to have that done by Thursday, and they can just click on there, and there's the video. And in fact, this video is one that my kids made. Anyway, so that's what I'm trying to do, is to get organized ahead of time this summer. Because I know one of the biggest complaints was I didn't have time to get a blended learning activity done this week, or I didn't have time to do it in class. if you start thinking about your modules now and looking at Khan Academy and looking at YouTube, or looking at those things that you recorded this year, if you recorded your class at all, you can start finding those things and just organizing it like this by section, and then you've already got it. When you get to that section, all you have to do is say, I need you to do, everybody by Thursday has to watch the video on, you know, how to do whatever. That applies to the
drag
class.
from what you've got now into a book.
You,
Re-upload, how do you do it?
well, these are YouTube, so I'm not sure I
You just got
understand.
videos in there, I thought you said you could just create a link then to the.
Oh yeah, then I just create a link to that. In fact, like, that was in my other class that I did that I used, the whole assignment was a book. I already had an assignment made, so inside the Moodle, open! Inside the Moodle book then, I actually moved all my stuff into this book. That was the assignment that I had before, so that the last thing in this book is just a link to the other assignment that I already
You
had.
just made a link.
Yeah, I just linked in the book to the other thing. So I left the assessments alone the way they were. I just have it so linked, the content's all in that one place and then the link's over there.
You didn't drag it in there, you just link.
Right, I just linked to it, because you can't drag an activity into the book. The book has to link to the activity if you've got a separate assessment.
If you've got different classes that you want to share something, can you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
Okay, so like, let's say I've got that book I made in Advanced Tech, okay, and I want to use it in another one. All I do is go down here to import, okay, and then it says, what do you want to import? I'm going to go to Advanced Tech, and I say use this course, and now it lists everything in Advanced Tech. So all I do is I say none,
And then click on it.
and then I click what I really want.
And import it.
So I want that book over here, and then it says, do you want the files or not? You may want the files associated with it, and then you just said continue, and then it's gonna say, hey, I'm gonna bring all this stuff over, and I hit continue, and this includes 36 files that are in there. Now in this case, really, the answer to files was no, there's no files in that, because it's all YouTube videos. I don't wanna bring a bunch of junk over from the other courses. So if I do this now, there's gonna be, I thought I said no. No, continue, continue. And then it's gonna bring that, and when you import, it brings it and puts it exactly the same spot it was in the other course. So if it was in section number 9, it's gonna be in section number 9. It puts it exactly the same
You might
spot.
move it.
And that was up top, so I should be able to then. Hoping I didn't just mess something up in my class, because I just wanted that one thing. And there's my textbook in my other class.
Okay.
So, yeah, once you build something in one, you can just bring it over to another one. I think that's all I brought over. So, anyway, so that's just one, and in the blended learning class, I know not everybody made it to everything, but any of those that you want to look at over the summer, every single one of the classes were recorded and posted up there on how to do everything that we did a session over this summer. So something to think about. Now, there wasn't anything new that we were going to teach during this today. It was just kind of think about stuff. What can I think about doing over the summer? What places can I look at? You know, if you're a science or a math teacher, maybe looking at ck12.org again, which I know some people looked at but didn't have a chance to get into deeply. As far as bringing in text and they've got videos and stuff in there too, and then you've got Khan Academy, and obviously you've got YouTube. And by the way, when I was talking about TeacherTube before, I'm not saying TeacherTube is bad, it's just my experience that during the school day using TeacherTube has been bad. It's better to download the TeacherTube video and put it in Moodle than the link to it, because it's just, it hasn't kept up with the bandwidth. There's another one that somebody said at the last meeting I was at too. There's another tube, I think SchoolTube, is that what it is? That has come out that apparently has been pretty good too. So does anybody have any questions on kind of like where we're going from here? The idea is to try to, now that we all hopefully understand what the blended learning stuff is, now it's easier to look at it this summer. I don't think last summer any of us had a good enough handle on where we were going to really get totally ready for this year. Hopefully through the course of this year, we've kind of learned a little more and how to do stuff, and we're better able to prepare for next year. Is that a true statement? Do you feel a little bit better about where we're at now than where we were last year? Is there anything that I need to look at this summer for us to improve on last year? Things that didn't go particularly well. One of the things that we need to put down as one of the rules is that students can't add any apps. A lot of the problem with the tablets was students added apps, and they don't understand that they only have a limited amount of bandwidth, and if you've got a text app running in the background all the time, it's talking on the internet the whole time, and it's eating up some of your bandwidth. And there are all these apps that they're running in the background that aren't our approved apps. I don't think any of them understood, because every single time a student brought up a tablet back to me and I flashed it, they're like, well, this is like brand new. Just don't put your crap on it. I think that was the majority of what our problems were. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to monitor that. The help software that you guys use when you put in tech requests, it's adding a part that's supposed to allow me to monitor tablets, so we'll see how that works.
Like, second semester, I use that my fitness pal app. No, or is that okay to have them?
Any app that you got, yeah, the apps that you guys want to use is totally different
You
than
can have that
them
approved
adding.
to somebody, or?
Yeah. No, just,
That's still okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
If they have a SD card, is that still okay?
I want to say no, because originally we said put your apps on your own SD card for storage, but it wasn't a storage issue this year. It was you're crapping out the tablet issue. I still think music needs to go on their own SD card so they don't fill it up, but I think apps. I mean, that's why. Do you guys agree? Disagree? I'm saying that one from myself, that I saw that as the major problem. I mean, is there any reason to allow them to put apps on those? It just seems like it was not that it's not going to be easy to police unless this software that I'm getting for free does it and lets me see, and we'll see if it does. It was a piece of software I was looking at anyway that was just too expensive for me to pay for. It's called Mass 360. Literally will let me know every single time a student put anything on any tablet. And I could say, if you put this app on there, you lose internet connectivity. So their tablet, basically, I could make it stop working. But it was $15 a year. I'm like, okay.
Per tablet?
Per tablet. Yeah, if it was $15 a year, it would be good. I would be like, all right. Yeah, no, it wasn't cheap. But they have an agreement with Spiceworks, which is who does our other thing. And a lot of their features, the ones that I wanted the most, I think are going to be free with the next release. So if that's the case, then hopefully I'll be able to at least be able to see it. May not block the internet connectivity, but if I know Jonathan's got a texting app, I can just give that list to Bob and let Bob deal with it once a week.
Yeah.
The kids that are, I mean, it'll only take a couple weeks before they all know they can't add an app without Mr. Fisher knowing.
Yeah.
And then I think it'll solve the problem with some of them. Anything else? That's really all I got. I didn't want to give you anything new. I wanted to remind you that all the videos were up there on the Blended Learning site. We all need to say goodbye to Miss Auld. I think she's going to steal some of our ideas and take them to a new school and then act like they're hers. I was just thinking what we could do is, like, wow, you're so smart. I'm glad we got you. Yeah, I let everything trail to you. Everybody call it the Spanish department. One thing I brought up last class, when we were talking about quizzes, I really do think, we have the mics installed all the rooms. I don't think many people recorded this year. I really think you should think about trying to make it part of your thing to record every lesson. Because if you had recorded everything this year, you would have all your content you ever needed for your blended learning lessons for next year already made. All you'd have to do is select your part of the video and be able to put that on there. It just makes it really easy, and especially if you have a family member who gets sick and you can't be in for a few days because they're in the hospital, how easy would it have been to pull up last year's YouTube videos and just email the link and say, this is the class you're doing. Is it going to be a little bit off of this year? Maybe. Is it going to be completely off of this year? No. Not unless you got a brand new textbook and you switch from forensics to zoology and now you didn't have that class or something. But to a large extent, you're giving the same content, or at least very similar content year after year. You would be able to make your own blended learning stuff from your own classes. So I realize that doesn't help you necessarily next year, but it does the year after that. So, and all it is a push button and then an upload when you're done. It doesn't take any extra time. I mean, when I'm done, I hit stop, I hit upload, and I go on with the next class.
Brian, when you link to other people's YouTube videos, how do you negate the problem where they remove the video or get rid of the video
I can't.
and you lose that link?
Your only other option is
Download it yourself and
to
upload it.
download it. You can't download and upload their content.
Right.
I mean, you can't upload it back to YouTube. It'll say it's duplicate content. Actually, try that. But if you download their content and then they delete it and then you upload it, it doesn't see it as duplicate content because it's not there.
So you just run the risk.
Yeah. And I've had that happen with websites. That's when it's really been
Yeah.
upsetting. The video has never been that was the best video I ever saw. I'm gonna
Right.
die without that video. But there are websites that I've had before that are really, really good articles that now it's not there anymore. And I'm like, I wish I would have copied that website. Because it's so easy to copy a website and throw it on a Moodle page. That it's silly that I didn't. And I always give credit. I always put the MLA reference at the bottom of it.
So, when you have other YouTube videos, do you put them as favorites on your site? Do you do that first, or do you just put links?
Sometimes I just put the link.
Just link it?
Yeah. But I mean, I've made other channels favorite channels before.
Didn't know if that helped or didn't help.
Yeah, no, that didn't. And I suppose if I had, and I'll be honest, I haven't really had that happen with the YouTube video yet, that it's not there anymore. But
I haven't either.
I guess the thing with YouTube videos is I don't think a lot of people take them down because it doesn't cost you anything to leave it there forever. I mean, there are ones that I've uploaded that, okay, that's not current anymore, I don't have a link to it, but that doesn't mean it's not, yeah, it's up there. So, I mean, unless it's, the only time I've seen things come down is because they're illegal to have up and YouTube pulls them. But, we got a thing from the state about how, when I had to pull down one hard because librarians said the Info Ohio password, and the state actually monitors that. Watched the whole video and saw her say the Info Ohio password, and he emailed me like 5 times in a 2-day period about how she said the Info Ohio password, you need to take that down. So I had to go and download it, cut out the spot,
What's the big deal?
It's not open to everybody else. Info Ohio is only paid for us to use in education in the state of Ohio. And they don't want other states stealing our access. So I couldn't believe that somebody actually went through it and saw that. Because it wasn't like it was typed up anywhere. It was just she said it in the video. Somebody at the state had a little more time on their hand than most of us do. Just go. Well, apparently on YouTube, if you didn't know this, you can make an alert word that anytime, like if you wanted to put zoology in, and every single time somebody posts something with the word zoology, you get an email. So as the person in charge of Info Ohio, she has the word Info Ohio. So anytime somebody posted a video about Info Ohio, that there was a tag on Info Ohio, she'd get an email on it and she could watch it. Check it out. So if there's content that you want to know about, you can put that in there, and as new things get posted, you get an email. I haven't done that, but she explained that to me, how she knew. I'm like, I didn't even know that was there. So, That's all I got.
Cool.
Unless Rachel asks another question.
I-
You don't even count, you're leaving. What?
Well, it's a relatively personal question, but I did all this work and I want to take it with me,
Yeah, that's.
so I can be a superstar over there.
It's not going away, is it?
Is there
No,
a
it's
way
not
to do
gonna
it?
be. I'm not gonna believe it on me.
Yeah,
But-
I know, but I don't know if I'll continue to have access to it on the.
I don't